wife Laura and I moved here back in 1984 and just absolutely found home. And we were so impressed by everything here and by the people here. And for the first few years we were in business. I started a new business in 1987. And it was a good community and it was treating us well. And I just knew that it needed to be maintained, to be helped, to be aided. And I needed to take a turn doing that. So I joined some organizations, and ultimately I landed with Cabrillo Music Festival. For 6 years, was on the board with them, president for 3 of those. And I learned a lot from Tom and Ellen about board membership, about supporting staff and working together as a team. We tripled our audience in 1 year, and it's been going really well ever since with Tom and Ellen's leadership that it's continued. Working with the police department and the city of Santa Cruz, we put together a commercial, an ad campaign to inspire people to stay safe and stay sober. And working with the police department, and particularly Zach and people at the city of Santa Cruz, we put together a campaign that really reduced the violence and increase the sobriety and the behavior of people in the first year. I was on the chamber board in the mid-90s and left after 3 years and came back in early 2001 with the invitation from Greg Carter, the director at the time, who's become a very, very good friend, and ultimately somehow got kicked up to being president of that organization. The chamber was very effective in turning a bad economy around for a lot of businesses, and we did that starting in 2001. And the chamber succeeded tremendously. We built a fantastic team, including Kathy Schlumbrecht, Charlie Eady, Pete Pringle, and others. So the whole idea was that I learned early on that you build a team and you work together. The ideas that everyone has are valuable ideas from different perspectives. You find a way to build bridges with those ideas, and you end up coming up with great ideas, great implementation, and support of all the entire team to implement those ideas. I take pride in being one of the many, many leaders that are in this community, because there are tens of thousands of us. And it's just, I thank very much that the Chamber recognized me this year. I know there's so many other wonderful candidates every year.
Well, I think one of the wonderful things about Howard is that he has genuine affection for the Santa Cruz community. He just loves being here, and he loves the people that make up the Santa Cruz community. Mm-hmm. And he marries that affection with a sense of responsibility for making the community what it should be. Mm-hmm. And when you put those two things together, you get a person who not only comes to the community service mission, but beyond that, climbs the leadership ladder. He will do what it takes. He will learn the organization. You've seen time and time again Howard move up in the organizations he's involved with into leadership roles. Mm-hmm. And then best of all is he does it all with a glad heart. He makes you glad that you brought him into the mission.
Well, he was involved in the chamber for a period of time and left and came back, and the time that he came back, the chamber and the community desperately needed him. And he was the president in 2005, and he really strategically brought the board, and not only the board, but the volunteers at the chamber. He really connected them all, and also knew how to show appreciation to everyone, the staff, the volunteers, and the board. And we learned a lot from Howard. He was a great mentor. No,
he absolutely did, and he continues to teach us today. But I think, you know, it goes back to this notion of inclusion, that to be effective, we needed to marry the different elements within the business community in Santa Cruz, mm-hmm. the Mission Street and East Side business associations, the other chambers in the community, the Women in Business program, mm-hmm. All of the groups that were somewhat small and focused. You know, we brought them under the umbrella. We put up a big table and we sat them around the table, and then we listened to what they had to say. Mm-hmm. And I think Howard gets a lot of credit for that.
Howard gets a lot of credit for that, and I'm also going to bring my bow out about this time, because Howard was very supportive of women in business, and he was supportive of the new business conference, or at that time was called the Networking Extravaganza, and he was right there, and he was great support, and I think together we just did great things for the community.
it was about giving as many people as possible the loudest voice that they could have. And you know, you sit around the table with Howard Sherer and watch him learn from the people around the table. And I don't know how many meetings I have been in with Howard where he is the last person to speak. He will listen to everyone's opinion coming around the table, and then he'll draw these people together and find merit in everything that he's heard. And that moves the organization forward. And then the next time he has a meeting, those same people are back there because they know they're being listened to. They know their opinion stands for something. That's the way you build a team, and I think Howard does it so well.
Well, and he respected people's time. And so when you had a meeting, it was going to be relevant and it was going to be effective. And Howard believed in starting meetings on time and ending early. So you've got to love that.
So it was Kathy's idea to toast Howard tonight, and I think it's an excellent idea. And I'm so tempted to say to the Man of the Year and for all you've given to Santa Cruz, but what I'm going to say instead is, this is to our cousin, Howard Sherer.
To cousins.